What's up, guys? It's Craig here. I'm here with my good friend Joshua Shang, who's a grandmaster, and today we are teaming up.
True, I am.
Yeah, unlike me. And today we're teaming up
But
to
just
rank.
fire off a stray yourself.
That's a strange start of the video. Just have a fucking roast counter throughout the video. How many times
Yeah,
we
it's okay.
start?
You'll be seeing a lot of those
Dude, we'll
throughout the
definitely
video.
be
So
like shooting a lot of strays out there too.
yeah,
Can keep like a stray. Honestly, let's do that. Let's do counter online. Free online tally counter. This will be the I will counter this every time someone gets a fucking stray. So right now it's one. So basically what we're gonna do today is we're going to be ranking openings for black on just the tiers list. And I guess without further ado, let's get started. So the first one
no,
we
dude,
see.
we need to establish criteria first.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. What is the criteria?
Okay, so one criteria is like objective evaluation, like in terms of engine numbers. So this
Yeah.
is
So
one thing that like matters. It's not the most important thing, but it definitely matters.
and then so
Um,
probably like another thing would be like how fun the opening is to play.
Yeah, which is, obviously subjective, but not really. Like, if you if you played chess, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
And then I
yeah,
guess
and
yeah, I guess for some people like openings could be more fun than others. Like I'm not sure who to shoot a stray at, but I'm sure some people just fucking love playing the Queen's Gambit declined every game.
Tang,
What?
Andrew Tang,
Yeah, maybe. Well, he's not a boring player
he's
though.
not.
Someone like Ed Cohen, I don't know.
God damn it. Uh,
Um,
what's anyway? So what was I saying?
so okay,
Oh
so
yeah. Also, another thing that matters is like ease of incorporation into repertoire. So like,
that's
for
true.
example, if you play the Nimzo Indian every game, like Nimzo Indian's obviously really good opening, but you also have to learn the Queen's Indian because you can't play the Nimzo Indian every game, right? So
Correct.
that's what definitely would be like a demerit against the Nimzo Indian.
Okay, and I think like the last thing would be like versatility in terms of like playing for a
Mhm.
win versus playing for a draw.
Yeah, exactly. How well an opening like does its job. Like for example, the Berlin's really good at doing its job, which is drawing the game.
Yeah.
And like, an opening like I don't know, what's an opening like that plays for a win? Like the con, I guess. The Sicilian con is an opening that's really good at playing for a win. Um so like, like they do their jobs well. Like there's no easy way for white to like force a trade of pieces in the con.
Hmm.
Uh whereas like an opening like that plays to win that like allows like white to like make a draw is like not so good in that category, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. All right. Cool. Like so let's get started. So the first one on our list is the accelerated dragon, which I'm just gonna show on the chess.com analysis
Yeah,
board.
well, this is kind of like a stand-in for like the actual starting position of Accelerated Dragon because you can get this through a bunch of different move orders and stuff, obviously. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, so I think the thing is like it's very flexible as like a black opening, but just like the Moroxy bind is just like better for white, you know,
yeah.
for just
No,
like
I also another big problem with it is that like if you play Accelerated Dragon, you have to be worried about either Rosalimo or like the combination of like C3 and Queen takes D4 against like G6.
yeah, correct. And
And
like both of
so
those are like serious, especially C3. Like Queen
yeah,
takes D4, I feel like is I used to play with white, but it's probably like just like fine.
I feel like ever since the black players realized they don't actually have to play bishop d7 and they can just sack the pawn like
Yeah,
in the main line, it's like fine.
correct.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's one thing that like is definitely a demerit. So I would actually rate Accelerated Dragon like pretty low, like as a
Yeah.
standalone opening because it's like doesn't fit well into repertoire. And it like Moroxy Bind is like quite problematic. One thing I will say about it though, I think I'll keep it out of D tier because one thing that's really nice about it is that it's actually quite nice to like know offhand if you're a Nightorf player,
Mm.
because in that case you can like if white plays knight c3 on move 2, then I think Accelerated Dragon is actually like one of the best openings. Like if White's committed to playing Knight C3. So then in that
Interesting.
case, like then I think, and because like players who play Naruto for the black, like obviously have problems with two Knight C3 or stuff like that. That's like a really huge deal.
Right. And I think
And like
especially
I
with
would
the
more
night.
I feel like for like any other opening, like this doesn't really matter, but because so many people play Night Earth, it's actually like worth noting.
Yeah, especially with the net on C3 already, with like no Meroxy bind is possible. And so I feel like even
Mhm.
just like the standard accelerated dragon, where you get like knight C3, bishop G7, or it's like knight F3, knight C6, D4, take, G6, knight C3, bishop G7, bishop E3. Like even that's probably like somewhat better for white. But there's like a lot of shit you could do. You could go for
No,
like
no,
the
no,
rookie.
because the way Geary plays Dragon with Knight D4 Bishop E6,
Yeah.
it's literally just better now.
Yeah, yeah, no, true, true. That's also like something. So you can go for
So
that.
like
You can go for
yeah,
like the rookie eight line that you played against me at States that one time. There's like
mhm,
A5, A4.
yeah.
There's and you can even just like transpose back into regular. So I would
Also
like
like yeah, like yeah, yeah. Instead of like Rookie 8 or D6, actually D5 is really good too.
that's not really good.
Like
It just like
D5 is good.
happens to probably equalize.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you can equalize while like sacrificing pawn with black and 8 moves, that's not so bad.
Yeah, I feel like D5's there is like the equivalent of like the French knight C3, knight F6, bishop G5, H6 though. You know what I
You
mean?
think so?
Like I don't. It's
Yeah, I
kind of
guess.
like the staple. So I
But
think like
like basically
personally
the
for
thing
me,
is like for
I'm just good like putting this in C tier for now. Like I don't think it's good for
yeah,
G.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Basically, like the way I see it is like against two knight c3. I think like being able to transition into this, like playing g6 or like after knight c6, knight f3, being able to play g6, I think is like pretty good value.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like because obviously knight c3, knight c6 is the best way to meet close Sicilian. Um,
Right.
but it's not really accessible to a lot of players because like knight or for Khan or whatever you can't really get. But
Yeah. So next on our list we have the Alakai.
okay, yeah, this opening is pretty bad.
So
Um,
dude, it's pretty bad. But like Christopher, you played it for a stretch when he was like 2400, and dude, like when I went to Europe, this one like old motherfucker played it on the board next to me when like his opponent had like clearly prepped and knew the line like 15 moves deep, and then just like still
yeah.
lost very quickly anyway with white.
Oh, do you know who Bortnik is?
Yeah, I know Bortnik.
Okay, so he literally plays the Alakine like every game with black. So one time I was playing him at a norm tournament in Washington, and I needed 1 out of 2 in the last 2 games to get the norm, right? Like a GM norm. So it was looking pretty good. And so then I was playing white. I knew he was going to play the Alakine. I prepared for it, like got to a better position on move 15, and he just completely smoked me and I lost.
Yeah.
And I played Jeffrey, so like lol.
Ooh, we might have
Yeah.
to decrease the tally counter for that because you
Dude,
actually
he's
just
that guy.
complimented him.
That guy's the goat. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah.
Now, okay, real talk. Like, I don't think this opening is actually that bad. But what I don't
Dude,
like about it is that
it's also hella
uh,
nice because you just get that shit on move one, dude.
it's true. It's true. It has like no repertoire issues because you just pre-move one knight f6. I
Yeah.
think the only move against which knight f6 is like worse is probably one g4. Then in that case, I think it's probably pretty bad. Um,
Yeah,
but
probably.
I gotta say that like I don't think this opening is that bad. What I don't like about it is how much freedom White has. Like
Yeah,
White can do like sort of anything and just have like a somewhat like more pleasant position, like pretty much no matter what you do,
right.
which is
Like
like
the
kind of annoying.
four pawns is kind of annoying. Like c4 with e takes d6 is annoying. Just like d4 d6 knight f3 is annoying.
Yeah.
But I guess the nice thing with black is just like, well, d4 d6 knight f3, like black at least has like a lot of options for what to play there.
Yeah, of
But
course.
and against like the most forcing, which is probably c4 knight b6 ed6, like I mean even there you can choose between ed and cd. But like that, I don't think that's like the biggest of Black's problems in the Alakine. So like there,
No,
at least the
it's probably
position's like
fine.
dynamic, and it's good for playing for a win anyway. So
Yeah, I think that like this opening only suffers in two categories, which is like one, the fact that like it's that
objectives
like
are not
it's like
great.
yeah, that like the engine eval is not great. And the other thing that I don't like about it is the fact that like it like gives whites like so much freedom. Like you kind of just do whatever and have like some nice position.
Yeah.
Um, but like apart from that, I actually do think like that the like everything else about it is pretty good. So like for human games, it's like I would say pretty decent to be honest. Like
Mhm.
I would put it in C, definitely below Accelerated Dragon, but like yeah.
Yeah, I would put it also in C. All right, the next thing we have is the Benko, which probably, dude, at the time that you made this,
Yeah, at the time I made this, this was a D tier opening, but now now it's kind of shyest.
yeah. So I guess like we have to. So probably like the Benko with G6 is like a midway between C and D tier opening. But like when you start playing
Yeah,
it like with E6, as is the new
yeah.
trend, like it's kind of like a new revival. It's like I feel like it's hard to say that it's like completely objectively sound, but it like really gives you what you want in terms of like winning chances. And I think
Oh yeah,
especially it's
100%.
like a surprise opening, like because with our repertoire we play like a shit ton of stuff against D4. So just like having the Benko in there, I feel like is just like a really good. It's just like really good in general, right? Because
It's also really goaded because there's a lot of players out there in like the 2200s, not going to name names, that just like autoplay at the Catalan every game and stuff like that. And then this is like really good against that kind of player because like you can't autopilot against Banco if you're playing white.
yeah, yeah, no, that's definitely especially like the D4 players. I would put this
Yeah,
so
but I feel like that's more because like D4 players are just bad.
yeah.
But it's kind of like true though.
What do you think? Like I'm between like A and B tier for this.
Yeah, I would. I mean, we can put it just like top of B for now because like I
Oh, can
mean
you do that?
there are things about it that no, you know, just put it like just put it like in B, and then we'll put other stuff like behind B as we go, probably. Because
Okay.
I definitely think this is like a borderline between like B and A tier. Because like I think it's like a good opening, but like there are certain things about it that aren't really optimal, like the fact that like White can literally play like 500 viable moves in the position listed.
Yeah.
Um, also like you know, there are certain lines where like the engine's not super happy, but they're like pretty unintuitive lines, like you know, human wise.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, like definitely, I think that like this is a pretty good like opening, especially like there are a lot of like if you want to play for a win with Black against D4, this is like one of the few ways you can do it. That like there's just no way for White to simplify the game.
Yeah. Correct.
Like immediately. Like this is pretty much the. You can also play like the check Benoni and stuff, but I think you're just trying to lose. So yeah,
Yeah.
it,
All right. I'm good with that. So the next
mhm.
is the Bogo Indian, which is D4 knight f6, C4 e6, knight f3, bishop b4.
All right. So basically, with this move, Black's idea is to try to get a bad version of an IMSO Indian.
Yeah, pretty much.
so so I don't think this is actually bad, but I don't really understand the point. Like yeah, like basically like if like let's say White had played knight d2 on move 3. Like I don't know why he would do that, but like if White had played knight d2 on move 3, there's literally no way you would play bishop b4, right? So like you know, I just don't really get it. Like I think it's like a fine opening, and it's nice because it's hard for White to like simplify straight away, but like you're just kind of uncomfortable with Black is my experience.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. There's like a certain player type, right? That's just like not us. That just like loves playing these positions. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
Cordova, he's just like gives away the two bishops. He's just like fucking like half free as can be, just like without his dark squared bishop.
Yeah. I mean, like people play like after knight BD2, people play like B6, and like I don't know. I think
Yeah,
this line is
B6
like
or like D5, and people just fucking love like putting all their pawns like on the sixth rank and then just like claiming they're slightly worse, but they can hold.
yeah. I mean, I actually think like Bishop D2 is more challenging than like the Knight D2. I'm pretty sure from what I
Interesting.
remember.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, and like basically what happens is you end up with this pawn structure where like essentially you play like C5 and take on B4 with the pawn, and like get this pawn structure like B6, A5, D6, and it's like it's really solid. Like it's like
Right.
insanely solid. But like you know what else?
Yeah. You can see my screen by the way, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, of course, of
okay,
course.
nice. Okay, cool.
I can see like I can see your Chrome if that's what you're asking,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or your Firefox or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's Chrome. So okay.
I mean, like
I
I don't like it's not bad. Like I'm like it definitely equalizes. So like it can't be D
Do
tier,
you
but
think
like
it equalizes though? I feel like there's easier ways to equalize the game, especially like
yeah,
everything,
it's
you know?
true. It's true. Against 3 9 f 3, like you could definitely do better stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, if you're gonna play Bogo Indian, why don't you play Rogozin?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, right? Like D5. Like what are you scared of with like knight f3 d5? Right.
Yeah,
Like
because
there's
if
only two
G3, then
viable
Bishop
moves
B4 is
there.
actually good.
Yeah, like knight c3 bishop b4 or g3 bishop b4, right? Like what are you
Yeah,
why are we playing bishop b4 and
but
like
it's actually genius. You can just play D5, premove Bishop B4, boom.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like for that reason we're putting this shit in C tier.
yeah. I'll put it in top of C. Put it in top of C
Okay.
because it's better than the other two, which like just don't equalize. So
Yeah, but the other two, like you're actually playing for a fucking win. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess. Yeah,
Like, okay, yeah. I feel like because like the other two, like they're not objectively great, but they clearly have like a point to why you're
I
playing
have a
it.
goal. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
and Bogo, like I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
the next is the Caro.
Okay, so with Carol, I actually feel a little bit conflicted about it. Um, for like a couple of reasons, because so like in terms of like the four like good first moves for black, it's not like the best one by engine. And it also gives white a lot of freedom. Like white has a lot of freedom to choose like what type of position he wants and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like for example, he can choose between whether he wants to play like aggressively with a closed position, like d4 and e5. He can like play two knights, which is like sort of in between. He can play like an open position with queens off with knight f3 d3. So that's what I don't like about it. But on the other hand, like I think that you actually get really interesting positions as black in Caro-Kann, particularly in all the main lines.
hmm
Um, and number two, what's really good about it is this opening is insanely easy to play. Like you really don't need to know very much as black to
you think
get to
so?
like a good normal position. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Like
I do think like
compared to French, Lopez or Sicilian, no
you
way.
think
Like you
French you need to
Caro-Kann.
know, dude. I learned French in like 2 hours, to be fair, but that's because like you gave me some files, but still.
No, I dude, you okay, you could learn Caro-Kann less than 2 hours, like for sure. I think Caro-Kann is so easy. Also, because
I mean, I
also like think
guess.
about like with French, like there's like a French pawn structure. You have to learn a lot of like intricacies about French pawn structure. But with Caro-Kann, like Caro-Kann pawn structure is goob easy. You just D and E off, and you have the incinerator, as Nimzowitsch called it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. I guess like I was talking to Titus lately, right? Like at
Hmm.
the Memorial Day tournament. He was telling me like because he was playing the
Hmm.
knight c3 d e4 knight e4 knight f6.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like that one game I played against him. He was just like, yeah,
Mhm.
I see all these games somehow where like black wins because like white hangs d4, but other than that, like, I don't really understand what black's supposed to be doing. I keep losing all these games, and for that reason, you like stop playing the Caro-Kann completely.
No, yeah, I think like I think that pawn structure, it's like it's really solid, but like it's kind of tough to like win in the middle games. But there, I like bishop f5 anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a huge bishop f5 gamer there for sure.
yeah,
I
and I feel like
remember a long time ago, a Wonder told me that like basically I told a Wonder about like some development that was played by like Donchenko in some Caroline, and he said, yeah, the key is like the key is that you need to like find out who the real theoreticians are and then just copy exactly what they do. And Donchenko plays bishop f5, so rest my case.
interesting. Yeah, I do feel like the Caro is just like worse than the other three move ones that are like legitimate
Yeah, I think
for
I
me
would
at
put it
least.
at
But
like top of A because
you
I think that like the nice thing about it though is like you have to know so little to like play it.
okay?
So that's what's good about it. But
All right.
it's not very good at accomplishing a goal. It's not very good at like winning or drawing,
Yeah,
frankly.
honestly, I would
Um,
probably put that shit at the bottom of A, but yeah, I'm
really
okay with putting it in A. Yeah, like I don't like Caro's one of those openings I don't think like I would ever start playing with black.
interesting. I think it's really good. If I think if Karakon's your main opening, it's like really good. But yeah, like if you just play it like randomly, it's like hard to find the position for it or like like the place for it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right, I also accidentally copied that shit somewhere else here, so we'll just put these together, honestly.
No, we can just
Um,
leave it at the bottom. Like we don't need to clutter up the thing.
okay, we'll just leave that shit
Yeah,
here.
just put it at the
And then
bottom. Yeah.
there's, okay, why don't we look at where was that shit? God damn it. Yeah, why why don't we look at this one? Well, I'll put it. Okay, I'll put it at the top here.
Wait, but that's not even a black opening.
Yeah, okay, but we can say like, how is Black feeling against this? I guess like what that's true. It's not even a Black opening. Maybe we just don't rate it then.
I
Well,
will I will say as a bonus for the viewers, my favorite move there is actually E6. But that's also because I play French, so that's
this
your
E4,
experience may
E6, D4, D5, F3, C6.
differ. Yeah, C6 would have to be like a bottom five move that doesn't hit material.
Yeah,
But
for
like
real.
but like it's actually like pretty interesting.
Yeah, like, dude,
Dude,
yeah,
oh
I'd
my god,
probably
wait, so
prefer
wait,
Bishop
so
D7. No, you would definitely prefer Bishop D7 to C6 there.
oh yeah, 100% because you're preparing C5.
Correct.
Oh wait, the other day I told you how like the other day I sorted out all my like games file, right? Like so
Yeah,
like all
yeah,
my games from tournaments are in one file now.
yeah.
I found my game with the Robbie Adams. Where I played the F3 Karagana, I was down a queen in 15 moves, and I'll play in one. Well, that has no relevance to anything. But it was,
I remember that shit too. That was in Philadelphia. And he like withdrew after
was
that
it
game.
Philadelphia or Vegas? I don't remember, but
No,
either
it
way,
was
it
in
was
Philly for sure. Because I remember watching it.
either way. That dude, that neither of us came out of that looking good. That's all I'm gonna say. He had
Yeah.
like mate in five at one point.
So the next one is the Nimzovich.
Wait, that's not the Nimzovich, that's the Chigorin.
No, you're right, the Chigorin.
Okay, this shit is ass.
You remember that one time? That was the tournament we played each other. We were just like spinning around in our chairs for 3 moves
Yeah,
before
yeah,
we
yeah.
agreed to draw. The Gil played the Chigorin against me in round two because the rule
Yeah,
at UTD was you can't offer a draw before move 20 unless you're significantly worse. So he just played an opening after which he'd be significantly worse. So we could offer a draw at like move six.
yeah, but you didn't take that shit and you fucked
No,
him
I
up.
declined it and I won smoothly.
Yeah, dude. No, this opening's legit terrible. It's gotta go D0. It's pretty good. It's pretty good repertoire wise, and it's good at getting a game. But the objective value is a little too important here.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I don't know, dude. Dude, that's the type of thing that like it's terrible, but like you just know that that one day someone's gonna just drop that shit on you, and you're just gonna fucking get killed. Like you just know
Dude,
it's
no,
gonna happen.
there's too much
But
shit you can do with white, bro. There's no way I would ever get killed here.
okay.
I mean, dude, it's just like you go knight f3, bishop g4, cd5, and you just get the two fucking bishops. Like, what is there to think about? You
Yeah,
just get
fair enough.
two bishops versus two knights and a strong center.
Yeah, not a strong combination.
All right, the next one is the. Is this the Steinitz, or does the Steinitz have to have e5
No,
included?
it's Steinitz. It's Steinitz. Wait,
Okay.
is it? Oh, no, it doesn't look like it. I think
Yeah, just the
E5 is Steinitz,
classical
yeah.
so far.
Wait, put in E5 and see what it says.
Yeah, that
Yep,
shit's the
there we go. Okay,
Steinitz.
so
And
E5 is Steinitz.
this is not. Yeah, okay.
You know what Bishop G5 is?
What?
It's awful.
Not necessarily. I mean, like, I don't know. You just get into the burns.
Dude, if we're talking about openings that allow black freedom, Bishop G5 is like the most freedom like fucking thing ever. Like all black has to do is just not play Bishop E7. Like virtually any other legal move and he's doing well.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Even Bishop E7, you can go for like the C5 immediately line where you like sack the rook.
Yeah.
Bro, if you did that against half the kids, actually, dude, remember that one kid who, after Roberto played Sicilian knight f6, knight c3, e5, he thought for 20 minutes and played knight b3? Against
Yeah,
that
yeah.
caliber of player, you could probably play bishop e7 with c5. They just wouldn't take on e7 and go knight b5.
Dude, also like I'm pretty sure the engine, like after H4, it just takes on G5 and then tries to and then just folds it anyway. So like why does it matter, you know?
Dude, that's what Annie used to do, and she just lost every game.
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to do it, but apparently, but I think you can, like in theory. Okay,
Yeah,
anyway, so yeah, this opening is S tier, like for sure.
yeah, I think so. I like
Yeah,
it for sure.
like
It's
this
just
this
like
opening is
very
it's
solid.
so good. Like first of all, after Bishop G5, like on a more serious note, like you can literally choose whatever you want to do. Like you could take an E4 and then choose between Knight D7 and Bishop E7, depending on how combative you're feeling. You could play McCutcheon if you're feeling really combative. You could even play like H6 if you want to draw immediately. Like it's so chill, you know.
Yeah,
And
and then
on
against
E5, like
is it kind of
and
kind
on
of same
E5,
deal
like
ish, but well, the main
yeah,
line
yeah.
anyway. Like you can choose between
Mhm.
CD4 Queen B6, or you can choose between A6 and like more of a fight there. Especially against higher
Yeah,
rated,
yeah.
like CD4 Queen B6, like they might
Mhm.
like have something where they're trying to get a game, and then like all of a sudden you can just be better with black.
Yeah, like no, it's actually true. I remember back in the day, I was asking a wonder, like, it's like, yo, like, what do you think about this? Like, do you think there's anything White can do to like, you know, try to get a game? And he like showed me a bunch of like piece sacrifices that were all like completely lost. And he was like, yeah, like I know that these are all like bad individually, but like if you like know all of them and your opponent probably doesn't, and like it's kind of chill. But like, the fact that like the fact that you have to get to that point is already a very strong
Yeah, yeah,
statement of
exactly. I
this
remember you
opening.
showed me one of them where it's just like didn't really it like ended in a draw or something, but not like black could also like play on it at some point. It just didn't seem very convincing to me.
No,
But
also like I remember the Twitter guy. I'll never pronounce his name right. He said that the engines and correspondence can consider this to be like an easier draw than Berlin. Like they consider it to be like the best opening.
interesting, dude. Yeah, God. So yeah, so
So
that
that
goes in
opening
S
is
tier for sure.
objectively great. The other good thing about it is that you can always choose your type of position, so it fits really well for like having a purpose. And it's also easy with a repertoire because how does White even avoid this shit? Everything else against the French sucks.
Yeah, no, that's facts.
No, yeah, this opening is S tier for sure. It's one of my
Okay.
favorites to be
Yeah, so
honest.
I definitely like realized I repeated. So like I put the classical down here because I thought you missed it, but yeah, you definitely didn't
Uh,
miss the classical. Um, Sicilian that is. So
Starting with knight c6. Are you Melik?
I remember. Do you remember in that camp one time, like, because Varun plays the
No, no,
classical
no, I
starting with
wasn't there, but you told me about it. You told me about it.
classical starting with D6, and Malik's like, "Why would you start with D6?" And
Why would you
nowadays,
start with knight c6? That's a real question.
it's just like clearly the wrong way to start.
It's the same position.
I guess like decent. I don't know. It like depends, right? Like this. Honestly, dude, if I had to play it, like I would start from knight c6 because I started liking
Really?
bishop b5 e5 for black. And I
Okay.
want to like
Okay.
start playing that shit at some point. And like
Okay.
I don't really want to face like d6 bishop b5 check like for now, you know. So
Okay. Fair enough.
yeah, but it's just like for like objectively d6 is just probably the better move. But yeah, here like this has got to well.
Okay. So originally when I made this list, I think I had this in S because I thought it was like the best opening for playing for a win. Which is like it's definitely really good for playing for a win. But the unfortunate White has more freedom than I thought. So like unfortunately, okay. So first of
Yeah,
all, one good thing about it is that White's kind of forced to play Bishop G5. All the other moves are like legitimately terrible.
yeah.
Um, Funny story. Whenever I notice that an opponent plays f3 in this position, I almost always choose this opening because I think after f3, like I literally prefer black's position. Like, I think it's like horrible.
Yeah, dude, these motherfucking mosquitoes in Texas keep biting me everywhere, man. Fuck.
Yeah, that's how it be.
How it be, dude. Yeah,
Dude, just be
but
glad you're not living in China, bro.
no, it's true. Yeah, I remember you came back from China looking like a big pimple, dude.
Bro, I once had 50 mosquito bites on my person. I had 8 mosquito bites on my left knee, bro. How's that even possible?
Yeah, but so Bishop G5. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit you can play with black, but that's the problem. Is it's like it's literally all bullshit. So like you gotta kind of play the main line like E6 A6 to like get anywhere.
I think the Goom move order is you start with Bishop D7 though, and on Queen D2 then you play A6 and then
Right, to
E6.
stop like Queen D3, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't like stop Queen D2, but it like
But it's
discourages
like
Queen
it's a
D2.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
put this
And
like
then like I think
probably
there White has like a lot of freedom on move 9, so he gets to choose his position. That's the only thing I don't like.
correct. Yeah,
Um,
and I do
but I
think
think
like
all of
it
like
is
the
objectively
huh?
slightly better for white, in my opinion.
Really? Wait, where?
I mean, just like the straight main line.
9 F4?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
we
agree.
get this like right, like it's not like a clean equality. Like eventually you'll fucking equalize because it's chess and you're just like clearly within the drawing margin, but that doesn't mean like it's equal. You know what I mean? Like it's not like your area of margin is less, especially if you go for you know we're talking about the line where you like give the H5 pawn or some shit and you might get it like you get like
No, no,
this.
I'm talking about a different line actually.
Which one?
Well, okay, so first of all, that line like draws by force. Like it's not like a
I
it's
don't
not
think
a
it does. Like it comes close, but like white has tries and like I feel like black's the one that has to you know,
uh
it like draws by force, kind of like how I don't know,
wait, so
like
like
the
which line are you talking about? So you're talking like F4, like B5,
yeah. So
um
let's say this. Yeah, I was talking about B5 knight F3. Was it like this?
I'm not playing Bishop E7, bro.
What are you playing?
Wait. No, wait, B5 knight F3. Wait, that's not a
Or,
move, bro. They
yeah, no,
play
I might
it's
be
Bishop
tripping.
E7 knight F3.
Is
After
it?
B5, they don't you take an F6? Yeah, you
I
definitely
take
take
on
an F6.
F6, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, F6 with a pawn.
what do I do here? Do I go F5 or King B1?
Um
Pretty sure I go F.
I think you can do no F5 is bad because you take on D4 and get the bishop to F4. You have to play King
Correct,
B1.
right. So that's why we go King B1 because that's what like Jacobian, like Edward Jacobian did against you.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that
And
shit.
so after King B1, yeah, I think
It's like Queen B6, I guess.
yeah, it's Queen B6. You
I,
take on C6 and then
yeah,
you
I
play
take on
F5.
C6 and I go F5. Yeah, yeah. We get
Yeah,
like
and
this.
I think both B4 and Queen C5 are good moves. Queen
Right.
C5 is quite rare, but I think it's good.
Yeah, like this is the line I'm talking about. I think like white is just like slightly better. Like white is definitely preferable in my opinion. I mean, we can
Mm, I mean,
but like this engine sucks, but it's just like black's like clearly the one that has to equalize compared to like I don't know, like just like for example, like French knight c3 knight f6 we just looked at, where it is like actually
yeah,
just
no, but what like I agree with you. It's like not as good of an opening objectively as like that stuff, but like what is good about it is that like it's really good for playing for a win.
maybe. Yeah, I mean probably like it's pretty good for playing for a win. Like I would still like argue to put this like at the top of A tier instead of S tier, just because like
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't gonna say S tier. I think what I was trying to say earlier was that like when I originally made this tier list, I was gonna put it S tier, but I think the fact that White has so much freedom on move 9 is like really annoying too.
yeah.
Um, like I think these lines like there's a lot of like unexplored territory because people don't play this as much as they play Night Orb. Um, and like even if you're not always playing like the objectively best move for Black, it can be like super annoying for White to have to deal with. But yeah, I think that White has so much freedom on move 9. I would probably put it in A tier.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Like there's like king b1, knight takes c6, like all that crap, right?
right, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, next up we have the dragon.
Yeah, this
Probably
opening is like
dragon D's nuts into C tier.
yeah, it's pretty bad. I think that like the problem with it is that I actually think like from an objective standpoint, it's like perfectly fine. But,
I
like
don't
you're
know, dude.
basically
Even there, like in Geary's course, he's just like, yeah, like in the main line, you get into this end game that you can probably draw good luck,
well,
and just
yeah,
like,
so exactly that's kind of my point where it's like, you can probably equalize, but like if you're gonna play that way, you probably shouldn't play like there's no point in playing Dragon then. You might as well play Petrov if it's the same.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, it's like for sure good as like a surprise. I think the one good thing about Dragon, I told you this like when I played it against Chiron, is just like
Yeah.
when you play like something against Dragon, it's like much harder to switch because you people have more like kind of like stick more to their pet lines against the Dragon than I
Yeah.
think
And I
like
mean also like let's be honest here, like nobody studies the Dragon as white anymore.
yeah, not anymore for sure.
Yeah.
They just like
So
know
like
that shit
I
sucks
think
somehow.
yeah. I would put it in C, not because I think the opening is bad, but just because like it's just really bad at doing its job. Like if it's doing its job is like supposed to be like playing for a win, getting a super aggressive position, then like it's just really bad at that, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
like
why does so many ways he can force an endgame? Like 9 castles, like they're all endgames.
right.
What's it called? Like even bishop c4, like you have to take and play bishop e6, right? And then like that's like
You don't have
it's
to. Like there's the new like I mean no, I think like Bishop D7 there is also fine, but like knight take on D4 and Bishop D6 is just like I like
wait.
it's
So when
still
you say
possible
bishop
to
d7, are you talking about rook b8 or knight d4?
knight D4. Yeah,
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, like that's fine too, but it's like the same problem. Like you're just getting in this like endgame
yeah,
at the end
kind.
of the day.
I suppose so, but yeah, I no, I like I don't think it's really good at doing its job. Also, it's just like very inflexible, right? Like it's kind of like a cool opening, but just like the margin for error is less, and so it's kind of just like
This opening feels to me like basically like I'm just like regretting that I didn't play knight c6 on the previous move. Like that's pretty much how it feels to me. Because
yeah,
if you think
kind
about it, after knight c6, like white can play like 500 different moves, and on most of them you play g6 and you get a great dragon, right?
of
That's like
correct.
literally why white has to play bishop g5 because if he doesn't, he gets a bad dragon.
Yes. Yeah, no, true.
I think this opening is like pretty cleanly outclassed by classical Cillian, to be honest. If you're trying to play a win,
Yeah, no, I
like it
agree.
even allows all the same sidelines.
All right, so next we have the Dutch.
Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think Stonewall Dutch is only a little better for white, but the difference is like so like the advantage is like so like meaningless in practical games.
Yeah, I can you force Stonewall Dutch though? No, you can't because I go like
Uh,
Bishop G5, right?
yeah, well, well the move order that people who play Stonewall Dutch actually use is d4 e6 c4 f5.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So like, and I mean, let's be honest here, most d4 players don't like play French to like the standard that like to like the standard of an e4 player.
Yeah,
So like I think it's like fair to evaluate Stonewall Dutch and Leningrad Dutch differently because I mean I'm like the biggest hater of Leningrad Dutch ever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't think Leningrad Dutch is great.
but so let's just like rank this based on the basis of like Stonewall because I think Stonewall is actually like a pretty decent opening because like A, no one plays it, and B, like uh it's very different from any other systems. Like if you actually like put in a lot of time as black, like learning how the pawn structure works and like how to do different stuff, then it's actually like pretty good, I think.
Okay, so for me, I feel like based on that, like where I would put it is pretty clear. Just like this is like too bad to put into A tier, but like if it's like not bad enough to put into C tier.
There's also like in addition to playing like regular Stonewall like d5 c6 bishop d6 whatever, there's
Yeah.
also this like funny line you could do with like bishop e7 94 and h5. So black actually has a lot of flexibility too, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
I've
quite a good
I've
line.
seen
It's
that
actually top
before.
engine choice I think even, which is wild.
But
Um,
like I mean, just like from experience though, right? Like I know Tita started like changing to play like the Stonewall Dutch, and that motherfucker
Yeah.
doesn't play no Dutch no more, just because that shit sucks. But
Yeah, I think the issue is really with the move order because if you play, I think if you play Stonewall Dutch, you have to play French. Like
yeah, which is
that's
like fine if you play French, but
yeah,
not.
which is fine. I mean, French is really good as we just talked about.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and like I would vote to put this in B tier.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down with putting it like B, and it'll probably end up like bottom of B, which is like fine. But yeah,
yeah, I'm fine bottom of B. I guess
yeah,
like if we're doing like Stonewall, which isn't like that bad, like yeah, I can see putting it in C tier too, but I'm okay putting it in B tier.
yeah. I mean, like like if you run the lines like in the Soma, it's pretty easy to get like point 0.4, point 0.5 for white. But like, you just look at the position, you're like, dude, what do I even do? Like, it's
Yeah,
so annoying. Like
it,
I've played so many bullet games with like Dachi and stuff where like we just get into some position where we just trade all the minor pieces on e5 and e4 and we both have light square bishops and I'm like boom I got the good bishop GG and then I realized oh shit my bishop's useless.
yeah,
So then it's like like if I'm a GM and that happens to me it's like it'll probably happen to like a lot of people also.
exactly. Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, next up we have the winner. Dude, remember when you used to hate the French? You were just like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I
In
was the
Millionaire
biggest French
Chess,
hater of
like
all time.
I got into like the tiebreaks were so easy. One of my opponents played the French. That's how easy it was.
Dude, I literally used to play 92 every single game, and I would just like everyone would play knight f6, and we would just like get the end games with like d4 versus d5, e6, and I just won every game.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
unfortunately, at some point, the opponents stopped being morons, so then it stopped happening.
Yeah.
So Winnower, I don't really know what to think of Winnower, to be honest. Uh,
It's
I
just like,
don't think anything's objectively wrong with it, but your life is so hard.
dude, we know where Gregorian would put the winner.
I do know where we're going to play the winnower, but quote the winnower. What I will say though is I think the winnower is like insanely good for playing for a win.
I mean, against like an opponent that doesn't know their theory, I get. Well, like if you go into the main line, right? Like there are gonna be forced draws in just like the poison pawn line, so you would have to play some shit like B6 or whatever, you know. It's just like
Well,
which is
B6
fine
a
if
little
your
bit too
opponent's
bad,
not a
but like yeah. I
like you
mean,
would
well,
want to
okay,
play
but
Winnower against someone that's not a theoretician, right? And then it's
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, also like to be honest, there are a lot of weird sidelines which are like not really the best, but they're like quite difficult for White to meet. Actually, like especially if he doesn't like know offhand, and frankly, most people wouldn't.
Yeah,
Like Carlson plays this line with like knight c6 on move 6, like after
correct.
c5 and takes c3, and that
Yeah.
line's actually like pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's for real interesting. Like he was playing it at
I think with best play, like White's probably like a little bit better, but like it's actually like really hard to punish, like for sure. Um, and stuff like that. And there's probably other similar lines. Like, can you tell me, off the top of your head, what to do against the Queen A5 line?
yeah.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I
so like
definitely
Queen
don't.
A5, Bishop
Uh,
D2, Queen A4. Is it basically like you're just gonna go like so there's a few plans you can go for. So like one of them is like Queen B, like you can go Queen B1, which I think is like a second tier move, or you can go like
yeah,
H4 H5 right away.
yeah,
I think a lot of the thing is just like deciding when to play like F4 or G4. And so first of all, you want to set up your pieces like knight goes to F4, pawn goes to G3, bishop goes to H3 first of all,
yeah,
castles.
sure.
And then at some point you'll like maneuver your shit around, and like you want to be careful that on F4 or G4, like black can't respond with like F6 or G6 like properly, basically just to like blow
Yeah,
open the position.
fair enough. Okay, interesting. Oh, I
Yeah,
guess if you know that off the top of your head, that's cool. I definitely don't. But like, yeah, I think this opening is like it's definitely not as good as its cousin, Knight of Six.
correct.
But like
Yeah,
it's definitely better for playing for a win than like anything within Knight of Six.
yeah,
So like I would probably put it like B tier, I
yeah.
guess.
I think I agree. Like it's too
But like
many people like
what I like about I think this opening is like generally B tier, but like in certain situations it can be shice.
it can be what?
It can be shice.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Alright, the next is Grunfeld.
I think this opening is like, I mean, objectively, it's definitely an S tier opening, like just based on objectivity. But I think this opening makes your life so hard when you're playing black.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like now that they came out with this new fucking like Bishop B5 check line, right? Like you've seen this
Uh-huh.
like I guess not
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not like recent,
we
but
talked about it.
it's like relatively recent, right? I guess like
Yeah,
I don't know what happens like takes in Queen C2 here or something. Like
yeah,
I don't remember for
something like
sure.
that.
But it's just like Black cannot play for a win in this line. It's just like really annoying. And
I
that's
think
not to mention
Grunfeld, yeah,
like all the
I
other
think
lines.
Grunfeld is kind of, I think Grunfeld is kind of stuck where like it just doesn't really have like a job, basically. Like if you're playing like so aggressively to like try to win the game, like you shouldn't play an opening where we can simplify so easily.
Yeah.
Um, there are also places where you just come under like a gigantic attack and like it's obviously fine, but like why?
Yeah, there's like the Russian system you have to know where like White has all this like peace sack bullshit.
Yeah,
There's like the Bishop G5, Knight E4, CD5 lines where like White can play positionally. There's like Bishop G5, Knight E4, Bishop H4 lines where you have to
there's
like
like
take.
four H4 like at any point, just H4.
Yeah, although I think 4H4 is probably like a C tier opening for White.
No, it's yeah, no, it's pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
Black has no C6, but that's about it.
Yeah, pretty.
Um,
And then you just like take on
yeah.
C4 and hold on to that shit for
Also,
dear
like
life.
this, like the CD and Bishop D2 line, you really have to know is Black too.
Yeah, correct.
Um,
Nizhnik played that
and
shit like
like
3 times against me.
yeah, it's good. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically, like I don't know, dude. Like I think this opening is like objectively, it's really good, but as black, you have to know, you have to like know so much more than white. It's just like doesn't really feel like worth it to me, to be honest.
Yeah, so I feel like so when I did play it though, like the thing is like if
Yeah.
White is playing for the win, like you do get like a dynamic position. You know, just
Mhm.
like any of like the Knight F3 Bishop C4 lines, any of the like non-Rook B1 lines, right? It's just like
Yeah.
you do get a and I have beaten like many strong players like with the Grunfeld.
Mhm.
So I think just like probably against lower rated players, it's like not the smartest choice, but against someone that's like your rating or higher, like did someone like 200 points higher rated, like that shit can be annoying for them to face, you know, especially
Oh,
if they're like
the other thing I forgot to mention that I really don't like about Grunfeld is that if you play Grunfeld, you have to play something unique against both English and one Knight of three.
yeah, that's true. And I guess like that kind of just like the anti Grunfeld exists, and then like C4 you gotta go like G6 to be in like a strictly like Grunfeld repertoire, I guess.
No, but then you got to be careful about like white playing e4, right? And like trying
Yeah,
forcing
and
the
then
king.
like the way like Apasov recommended it to me, we were just playing some completely unique system against the English, which is like G6, like with like C5 in there somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
But
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but like the fact is that you
yeah,
like have
it's
to
just
learn
like
something
not
like
it's not
random,
very convenient repertoire wise if you're
like
only
if you
playing it with like
compare it with like its like cousin, right, King's Indian, like
yeah.
you can literally just play the same moves against everything if you play King's Indian, right?
Yeah, correct.
And
So
it's like
like
actually good. So like to do that.
are you
So yeah,
thinking
that's
like
like
bottom of A
I mean
tier or top of B
I
tier?
think the opening is too good to be B tier. I'd probably like like bottom of A probably. Like I think that the opening is
It's
it's
objectively
a
good.
really it's objectively like it's like probably like the best way you can meet D4 to be honest. Like
Yeah.
it's up there. Especially if you account for the fact that like you can't play Nimzo against everything. Like you can play Grunfeld against everything after D4.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, like the fact you have to be prepared for like all of this like attacking stuff, and you have to play a quiet C6 against G3, like it's just so like annoying. Like it's like I feel like for human beings, this opening is just so impossible.
Yeah, facts. All right. So that brings us to the Kalashnikov, named after the people who played all got clashed in the head when they were
Yeah, I mean honestly, I think the real problem with this opening is that there's no feasible way you can avoid Rosalino. That's one problem with it,
babies. Yeah.
because Rosalino is good. And also the other problem is that this opening sucks, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like
The
like
only
after night
people who play this opening are people who don't know openings.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know, like,
Baloo,
it's
you know,
yeah,
what's
but it's
that?
actually true. Wait, it's actually so true, I never thought wait, I never thought about that until just now, that's crazy.
No one who plays the Kalashnikov is any sort of theoretician at all.
Yeah, I don't dude, I think this opening sucks, like, I think C4 is really good, like, first of all, and I also think that if white plays knight C3, I think that you should probably just go back to Sveshnikovs, and, like, what was even the point?
Yeah, but like obviously you're not going back to Sveshnikov. That's like not the point of playing it. But yeah, C4 is pretty good. Like it
Oh,
will
actually, I think
stay.
after knight C3, I heard some people say, like, bishop E7 is, like, pretty decent, like, the
Really?
system of bishop E7.
I know
Like, not,
like
like, right away because of knight D5, but no, no, like, yeah, like, is it
I
here
so
or on the
like
previous
I
move?
know this, I've had this shit played against me before as well. So you're saying Bishop E7 here?
No, no, instead of B5, I think. I think that's what they
Ah,
do.
I know. What was it? Titus played Bishop E7 against me maybe, or maybe he
Yeah, no,
played Bishop
Bishop
E6.
E7 is the way, I think, because on Bishop E6 is Bishop C4, I
Right, right.
think.
So I think yeah, actually like Titus played Bishop E7 against me
Yeah, no, this is, like,
like
not that bad,
well.
because if you play knight C4, there's, like, B5, Bishop G5 or something. I don't remember the specifics, but, like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that sounds
it's,
very
like, kind of
familiar.
you're, like, in, like, a very mild Zugzwang here, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure the engine only gives this, like, point 0.4 or something like that. Oh, shit! Wait, this
Yeah, but
move.
this engine sucks, so like
Yeah, this engine does suck. It's
big
true.
whoop, right? I mean,
G5. Okay, maybe knight f6 is better. I don't know, but like, basically, like, it's just like
yeah,
the knight on E3 is not as much of an achievement as it is normally.
correct. Yeah, and this is just like more or less fine, I guess.
Yeah, because like, what do you? Because your dark square bishop is like is pointless now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's the key. That's the key. When you plug your knight on E3, your bishop becomes useless on C1. But I think the C4 line is good. Like, I think this line is good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think this thing is like it is pretty good for black to play for win. You know, there's all
Yeah,
sorts of like
for
Bishop
sure.
E7 F5 type shit, but yeah,
But then
objectively, it's just like
that's where that knight f5 shit that you play comes in though.
like I feel like this opening is just like a fucking miracle for anyone who plays like the King's Indian for black and they're trying to like they're struggling to find like the King's Indian against E4 and then they like find this shit. They see they can play like E5 F5, they start like jumping for joy.
It's actually so crazy you mentioned that
They're
because like
just
if
like,
you
how
because
can I get an opening against E4 or I'm worse objectively? Doesn't matter practically, and I can play F5.
wait, that's actually insane that you mentioned that because like because like this is basically like the worst King's Indian of all time.
So we're putting this shit in C tier.
Yeah, I think so, bro. I think this shit sucks. Like whenever Kalashnikov has one of those openings, like if I see my opponent plays it, like yeah, I know it's going down. Like it's
Yeah.
like I'll like consider not playing Rosalima if I think my opponent's gonna play
All right. Next is Khan, which
Okay, unfortunately this opening is like kind of not that good. Like I don't
yeah,
think it's that.
which
But
like clear
okay,
for like most of your life you would have put that shit in S tier, but
I don't know. I don't really play it because it's good. I play it because I think it's really fun. Like
yeah,
I think you get like a really interesting position almost every game. And B because I probably know more about it than like just about everybody else around.
yeah.
So there's that. But like yeah, I think this opening like objectively it's not that great, but it's really easy to slot into a repertoire because like you kind of just like play E6 against anything.
Yeah.
And what's like really cool is that like you pretty much always get like an interesting position. Like it's very hard for white to like forcibly simplify the game or anything like that.
Like I feel like so the one problem like I started looking into E6 recently too. And
Yeah.
I've like kind of been playing it actually. Like I
Uh-huh.
just like don't really fucking know how to get like too much of a game after 3C3.
3C3.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. 3C3 is kind of annoying.
Yeah, which is like the
I
problem with playing the E6 Sicilian.
yeah, it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, like you can obviously play knight f6, like, it's not the engine's favorite, but like it's been played by humans for like thousands of years.
Yeah,
Uh
and just like but just like the pawn on E6 just like sucks in that position. You'd
yeah, it's
much
not
rather
great.
like not have that shit there. But
I think playing d5 and queen takes d5 like looks kind of stupid, but like
I think
when you
that's what
realize
I would
like
do against a lower rated. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like basically what ends up happening is that you're essentially playing like almost like QGA. which is like fine, obviously. Like, but you have more pieces on in PGA, so it's like kind of nice in that respect. So like, it's not like so bad. But like, I would say the con overall is like probably like a B tier opening.
You would think B tier? Okay.
You
Yeah,
think it's
I would
lower?
agree. Like I would put that alongside like Banco and Winnower, honestly.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you're me, it's S though.
Yeah, like I mean I was willing to put it in like A for you just like out of respect, but like I do think it's B tier.
No, I mean, like, it's just like, I mean, I've been playing this as my main opening for like 12 fucking years. Like, that's not a realistic expectation to have for people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
But
So
like, I will say that this opening scales insanely hard with experience. Like, if you have a lot of experience here, it's actually shiced. Like,
yeah,
because like you like your opponent will like prepare some shit, and then you'll just like outplay them because you just understand the pawn structure better.
yeah, yeah.
Like that's actually happened to me so many times. I've had so many times where somebody came with like some like smoking hot line and just like came in and just like came in swinging and just like tried to take my head off, and I just like defended somehow, and then I just like outplayed them because I know the pawn structure.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. That definitely happens. So God, I just started laughing
What?
because I saw the oh, what is the Schwedigan layer in the list. The
Yeah,
Schwedigan.
yeah, that's a good reaction.
Um,
Okay,
the next.
we can just put that shit in D tier for now and just not explain it.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair because I don't want to explain that. There's just no point.
It's just
Like, why would you like, dude? It's
complete.
so stupid to me. Like, why would you start with E6 instead of playing A6 and then just pre-moving E6? Like, makes literally no sense.
It's a
But
complete
okay, whatever.
lack of utility.
No, it's actually so bad. Like, even if White just plays like Bishop E3, like you had to play the Knight Orf anyways. Like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and also G4 is just like good. Like, there's just nothing you can say to
Yeah, and
that.
then like if White, even if White's retarded and plays Bishop E2, Bishop E3
Yeah, it's
passable,
still dangerous, bro. Like, it's still you still gotta know that shit. It's still dangerous.
yeah, just like you get to the main line, and then White has like 8 main lines there, all of which are critical.
Yeah, it's like well, he can play like G4. He can put the bishop on E2 on like F3 or D3. He can play like Queen D2 to G2. He can play Queen E1 to H4 or G3. Like, dude, like why? Like what? Like, dude, that shit's so annoying to play for black, man.
Yeah. Anyway, and not to mention Bishop E3, A6, G4 is also just bad for black.
All right,
But
next up, King's Indian.
yeah, next up, King's Indian.
I think this is S.
We're not putting it in S.
Wait, really? You don't think so?
No. Dude, because you have to learn too much shit. It's like impossible.
That's fair. That's fair.
You
I
just
think
have.
the only constraint of King's Indian is the player's memory. I think that's the only problem with it.
Yeah, there's too much like forcing shit sometimes too. I
It's
don't
pretty
know.
forcing. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I think in terms of like objectivity and in terms of like having fun, this opening's S. But like, yeah,
I don't
that's
think in
fair.
terms of
It's for
objectivity
practice,
it's an
kind of.
S. Like you're just
You don't
like
think
hitting
so,
yourself there, bro. Like it doesn't
dude?
like it's for sure very fun. I like and maybe like yeah, obviously just because like this can't possibly not be within the drawing range. Like yeah, if you take it far enough, like black's gonna fucking win.
Dude, Twitter guy said it's like the best correspondence opening.
Yeah, but he also recommended knight c3, knight f6, d4 against e4, e5. So like, what are you gonna do? He also recommended h3 against the exchange French in the
Wait, but
exchange.
that's actually good. That's actually good.
I mean, I don't know, like maybe, but I'm not putting it in S tier. That's for sure. Like I
Okay,
think like A tier is fine.
okay, that's fair. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Just so many people out there just have this impression that Kings Indian's like the worst opening of all time, and I really
yeah.
just don't know where it comes from.
Dude,
I think just
there's
because a
just
lot
like
of bad players play the Kings Indian.
yeah. I feel like the King's Indian and like the Grunfeld are kind of like a little bit of just like opposite twins.
There's
You know, or it's
yeah,
kind of
it's
just
true.
like
It's like open or closed, right?
yeah, yeah, kind of a little bit. But learn both of them, you just have to memorize a lot of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like I when I was a kid, I was like, I played King's Indian like every game, right? So I was just thinking like, oh shit, like it'd be kind of cool to play Grunfeld because like it's different, but they're like kind of similar. Like the sidelines are all the same and stuff. And like now, that's just like such like a ridiculous sentence because it's like, could you imagine learning all of Grunfeld, memorizing it, and then memorizing the entire King's Indian? Good lord. No,
Yeah.
I think like Grunfeld, King's Indian, and Nidor for like the three openings, whereas Black you actually need to learn like a lot. Like I think everything else is like there's theory in some lines, but it's like fairly linear and it's like not that many lines. Like those three openings, like yeah, there's like you just have to know a lot for everything.
Yeah, and like of the sound openings anyway. Like obviously Dragon you know a lot, but that's like not
Yeah.
even in the same
No, dude, I
concept.
remember like back in the day, I was like, man, this semi-Slav, like this Botmanek variation, there's so much theory, man. My file is like 5 pages long, and my Nidor Black file is like 150 pages long or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Dude, I
it's not
remember
even
what
remotely close.
I was talking to Miley
Yeah.
after like one of the games, and
Uh-huh.
she was just like, "Yeah, like I had 45 minutes to prepare for you, but it was plenty of time, like because I just like clicked through my Nidor file, and then I just like went went to my C4 E6 file, and I clicked through that. And I was just like, "How long is your Nidor file?" I mean, she was just like, "Yeah, like I just like clicked through all the possible variations on Move 6 that you could play." And at
It's
that
like, dude,
moment, like
that's not possible. Like, yeah,
yeah, I was
that's
just
not.
like,
Yeah,
damn, you
like,
must have like the worst nine or file of all
yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
time. For someone who never shuts up, she sure has like a short file.
Based.
Anyway,
Oh
the
God, I just saw what's next.
next,
Okay. To be fair, if you're playing for a win, it's good at that. So you can put it at bottom of C.
yeah, I'm okay putting this at the bottom of C. Dude, I played this shit for too much of my life to put that shit in D tier. Although objectively, maybe it belongs. Well, okay, objectively,
Objectively, this is
it
probably the worst opening of all the ones we discussed so far.
You think it's worse than Chigorin? Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably. Dude, Chigor's probably only like 0.6.
yeah, maybe. I mean, like,
Dude, think about it this way. When they make engines play against each other in like the TCEC and shit, right?
yeah,
They draw almost all their games, right? But like because they rotate the openings, eventually they get to the Bodoni and then white wins.
like every time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like white like very consistently beats other engines in the Bodoni. So
In the
like think
yeah.
about whereas that's not even true of like the Alucard or the Chigor. It's like make of that what you will.
So we're already just outside of the drawing range.
Okay, I don't know if that's true. I think
So,
black draws some. Black has to draw like some of the time.
yeah, but that's only when the engine like outplays weaker engines.
No, it's true. This opening it's so bad. I wish it wasn't because like it's kind of
It's
cool,
kind of
but
like
like yeah,
yeah, it's kind of OP.
it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Wait, what's next? What is that?
This is what I was saying, where I thought it was like the G6, but this is E4 G6 only, and then the next one is
Oh,
modern.
modern. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's actually like so hard to like see. Holy fuck,
dude, that's what I was
that's like
telling
the
you at the beginning,
optical illusion, bro.
where I thought you had D4 G6 and then like E6 in there, but it's just yeah, it's just
Yeah.
E4 G6.
Okay, I think this opening is like I think it's fine. Like I think if you like you just actually have to know it with black, which is like
You
I mean
think
was
so, dude? I
fine.
don't think the modern's fine. Like
Wait, really?
objectively,
I
don't you
mean,
just
okay.
get
Well, what I was gonna say was like I think it's like close to fine. Like I think in practical, I think it's good enough for practical games.
don't you just get fucked in Bishop E3 unless you're white against Tomas Galashvili like that one
No, you.
time? You
That's crazy. No, I mean like yeah. Obviously, it's like good for white, but like I think if you yeah, I mean it's not great. Yeah, that's
right,
fair. I
like
mean, it's pretty bad. Well, okay, what I was gonna say was like I think it's like not that great objectively, but like I think in like all the other categories, it's actually really good though.
I
Like it scores
agree.
really high in all the other categories. Like it's literally the easiest repertoire. You just pre-move G6 against anything except for H4. Like it's that simple, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
And
I
if white plays H4, I think you're probably fine. And like, yeah, I don't know. And also the fact that like white can't avoid it, and obviously white can't forcibly trade pieces because I mean you haven't moved any center pawns.
Yeah.
So I think that part about it is really good. So like I think that's enough to keep it out of D tier.
Yeah, I think like so we can put this in C tier. What do you think?
Yeah,
Like
we can put it in C tier. I think it's better than the
I do
Benoni.
think so too. Like probably better than Dragon, honestly, just because like you why can't like
Yeah,
force
because just because it has a purpose. Yeah,
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 yeah. I'm gonna put this shit above the BOGO. Just 'cause.
yeah. That's fair.
Okay, so next is the Nightorf.
Nightorf has to be S.
Yeah,
It has to be
Nightorf is
S.
clearly an S tier opening,
Yeah.
just
Well, because
because
like
like
this
it
this
has everything.
opening is like
Yeah.
it literally like you have like you have freedom as black, bro. Like that's like the first time this whole time. No, except for its brother right next to it. Right next to it, that's the only other opening that has freedom for black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can choose between you can choose your own pawn structure and like you can play for a win or play for a draw. Like that's so crazy. Like that's actually insane.
Yeah, and it's like
Like
objectively completely fine too. Like there's nothing.
objectively it's
Yeah.
like the best. Like it's like basically the best. It's up there with like the E4 E5 shits, right?
Right, because the
Like
other shit where it's kind of like it's objectively fine in terms of like eventually like you'll equalize, but it's just like
yeah.
in the Nightorf, like it's
But
objectively
the
fine
Nightorf
as
is
in
like
like
by the
you're
time
you're
the
already
A6 has
just
appeared,
fucking fine like
yeah, by the time the A6 has appeared on the board, you've already been equalized.
already.
Like pretty much.
Correct, yeah.
What I will say about it, it's kind of annoying unless you play it as your main opening. It's like same file, like, same category as King's Indian in that respect. I actually now and King's Indian are very similar in character.
Mm.
Where like you have to know like an unbelievable amount of theory, but like I think it's objectively like so good that like it's like worth it. Like if you play it as your main opening.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, this opening is insane. I mean, just look at how popular it is, right? Like there's a reason.
Yeah.
Like most like people are stupid. Obviously, you can't always count on popularity, but like this opening is like, yeah, it's so good. It's good popular.
Yeah. It's definitely S tier for sure. So
Yeah,
the next one is probably I mean definitely either S or A tier. The
I think it's like bottom of S because well, so I actually think Nimzo Indian is like probably the best way to meet D4, like if you can guarantee it. But that's a really big if, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah. So like the just the fact that so like first of all, like there are lines after which you have to be like careful as black, which is fine, obviously. Like you have to be careful in every line in Night Orb, right? So obviously that's not a huge problem.
Yeah.
Um like like F3 or like E3, like you have to be careful not to fall into like a scary position, right?
Mhm.
Um and I will say that like it's really nice that against the most historically common move, Queen C2, you can choose between like a forced draw or like a dynamic equality, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Um but the problem with it is that you can't guarantee it. Like that's the issue that I have with it.
Yeah, I think like we can even discuss like if this isn't S tier, like what is S tier against D4?
No, I think this is definitely S tier, but
Okay.
but I wouldn't put it like I think the other two are like higher though.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. Because I was debating like also putting this at the top of A tier because like it just doesn't. I guess like it does feel like an S tier opening, but then you start like thinking about it, it's like
The annoying thing from a repertoire
yeah,
side as well is that you also have to play something unique against English and Knight of Three. Same problem as Grunfeld, and
yeah. That
that's
that's what I was thinking too. And like knight f3, knight f3 is like a problem. Like 3G3 is also a problem.
yeah.
But
But like
so that's why I
if you
was
can actually
considering it
reach
like
this
top.
position,
But I guess like you're saying just like from this position.
I think like if you can reach this position, it's like the best of like all. Like it's top of S. Like
Yeah,
I
and
think this
I
I
think
think it's
like
that good.
in general against D4 players, like D4 players will just like fucking tell you like what they're gonna play like in their database. Like you know, like there's a
Yeah,
few people that are just like, oh, they switch evenly between knight c3 and knight f3. They're usually it's just like
yeah.
100% knight f3, like 100% knight
Mhm.
c3. And then like I'm in that category too. Like I played knight c3 for like 2 tournaments, and I was like, fuck that, back to cattle. You know?
Yeah. No, dude, I
Yeah.
remember like back in the day we were talking about that because I was like, "Are you sure you want to like allow the Nimzo?" And you're like, "Nah, dude, it's chill." Like I prepared this like Knight f3 and like G3 stuff, and like
Yeah,
it's actually like goob insane. And
yeah.
then like, but
Honestly,
like when
like,
you actually,
and I did well. Like
uh,
I won like all my games. I think that I actually played it.
yeah.
Like I might be fucking like 4-0 against the Nimzo or some shit.
The
But
thing I don't like about that stuff is like Black just has so much fucking freedom. Like,
yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
true.
Like especially like my Nimzo files are all about like reaching interesting positions. So I feel like knight f3, my main move is b6,
Yeah.
and against g3, my main move is bishop takes c3 and stuff like
Right,
that.
right, right.
So like I just think that like it's like the other thing that's great about Nimzo is like it barely takes any effort to learn it. Like there's like you just have like you can kind of just like do whatever. Like on any given move, you can play d5, c5, or castle, and they're all fine.
Yeah.
Which is actually like insane to say
You
out
can just
loud.
like look at the clock to randomize and then just choose one.
Dude, some against some moves, b6 is pretty good. Like what the fuck? Like you can just do anything, bro.
Yeah, dude, against knight c3, bishop b4, a3, you just look at the clock and then castle.
Yeah, a3 is like the only move for which that doesn't apply, but a3 also sucks, so I think it's
Or
a fair
like queen,
compromise.
queen b3. Yeah, no. Um,
Yeah. So I think Nimzo's like I
okay.
think like everybody should have Nimzo in their repertoire. That's what I'll say. I think everybody should have it like
Yeah,
somewhere.
that is fair enough. Next we
Yeah.
have the Petrov.
This is S.
You
Honestly, probably top.
you wait. Okay, I'm willing to kind of fight that just because like
Really?
just like it's made like a huge appearance. Just like, well, okay, it depends on like what level you're talking about. It's just like if you're 2700s like playing chess in like a round robin, then like yes, it's S tier. Just because it's like you're totally fine drawing with black. Like the onus is completely on white.
Yeah.
But I think that that's just like the one purpose. You're just like trying to equalize the game. You're trying to shut it down.
Sure. Well, I'm thinking
And
about it
even
like
you saw
from
like
the
someone like dude, someone like Nepo who's played this shit his entire life. He got out prepared 3 times like in the Petrov and the candidates where he was just like
yeah.
lost out of the opening. You know, and
No,
he held every time.
it's like a weird it's a weird opening because you actually like have to know like S black theory, which is kind of weird because it's
Yeah.
Petrov. But like I think like for doing its job like of drawing the game and how convenient it is repertoire wise because you know if white plays e4 you can sort of like half guarantee this position, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like I think that is like insanely valuable. Like if you're just trying to draw the game and like white doesn't really have any like great ways of dodging it, like it's pretty wild. Like
That's
I don't know.
true actually. Yeah, maybe I should I really should
It's like
add
how the
some
fuck
sort
is
of
white supposed to dodge this shit? Like they're supposed to play the Vienna or the bishop's opening or the king's gambit. Like come on, dude. Like the white's not dodging this.
yeah, I probably should add this to my rep or they play knight c3 here like I would do on move 3.
Yeah, but like that's not exactly like
Unless you're a Rebus and you play d3 and you get a
no. I mean like
Philidor up a tempo and you're very happy with white.
I don't think Fortnite Spanish is like bad, but like let's think about it this way, right? You're playing the Fortnite Spanish because you like want to avoid all these like drawing lines, and then Black just plays knight d4, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna kill myself. Like,
Yeah, or bishop b4, I guess. But
yeah,
like yeah.
exactly. Like yeah, bishop b4, like you're just like, fuck, I'm gonna
All
kill
right, I
myself.
guess just for like the draw, like so the reason like I originally wanted to put this at like just like the top of A tier was just like it has no flexibility in terms of playing for a
It
win,
doesn't. It doesn't.
but it is just like so good. Like on move 2, you're basically guaranteeing like okay, like I can just like
Like we're gonna get like a symmetrical position. Like that's almost guaranteed from this
yeah, but
position.
it like it basically like you would have to have other shit in your repertoire. You can't just be playing this
Yeah.
against like lower
Oh
rated.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so I'm
So
willing to
yeah,
put
so,
this.
so that's fair because like Nidorf is like an opening that like if you play Nidorf and you're good at it, you don't need to play anything else.
Yeah,
But like,
correct.
but Petrov is different. Or like French. Like if you're good at playing French, you don't really need to play anything else. But Petrov, you need to play something else too. But in terms of, so I guess that's fair because like it's really easy to incorporate into repertoire, but it's not a complete repertoire by itself. But
Right.
definitely like like in terms of doing its job, I don't know if any other opening in the entire game does its job as good as Petrov does.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Then we need to put that in S tier.
That's why I don't think this could not be S basically.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, the next is the the
Yeah, put
Phil.
that in D. Put that in D. Put that in D.
Yeah,
Fuck
I'm
that.
down.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but dude, yeah, I don't know why this shit was being played in the women's candidates. Like, I don't know if they've like never turned on an engine in their life or some shit, but like, how can you be playing this in the candidates? Like, this is so bad. I don't know. And then there were people that were like, I don't understand how people still play this in 2024 after like neural networks have come out. It's just like
Yeah, I
you
don't know.
never
I mean, I'll, like,
like click default engine in your life or something. Like it just doesn't make
I mean,
sense.
white can do so much stuff. Like white can play like the G3 line is good. Like knight f3 bishop c4 is good. Like I'm
Dude, I
pretty sure
think
like the
knight f3
g4 line is
h3
good.
g4 is like what I
Yeah,
play now.
yeah, exactly, dude. Like you can just do fucking like this opening sucks, bro.
Yeah. And but Malik used to swear by that shit. It's not his fault.
I mean, like you can definitely win with it with black, but you need to be like better than the white player, which is like
You need to be
true of
like
literally anything
clearly
else on
better.
this
Yeah.
list. Yeah, which is true of literally anything else on the list. So like like
Yeah.
what's the point?
Dude, yeah, like and I feel like even in the Philidor you have to work harder because in the Bishop C4 line at
Yeah,
some point just like white starts like doing nothing and you're like shit, dude, like I gotta do something with black and it's not really the easiest.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I remember like Malik was like, yeah, like I don't play for a win this one game. And so they got like
Yeah,
the typical bishop c4, c6, like a4, a5 position. He had to
uh-huh.
go for like queen b6, queen b4, knight b6, takes a4. Almost got
Holy
his wig
shit.
snatched, but he like got out of there with the extra pawn and won. Which is like there's easier ways to play for a win, dude.
Yeah, like there are other ways to play the game. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
next is Pyrrhic, which is basically just modern but worse. So let's put that
It,
shit in D.
levels of protection because bishop e3 effectively just like is just better for
Yeah,
white.
bishop e3 counters both, bro. Like you can't be letting that happen to you. Oh my god, look at how symmetrical all the categories are now.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We just have it's symmetrical with just a penis in C tier.
But that's like kind of how it should look, though. I think so. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, good. So
Because
we
like
have
you would expect most openings between to be between like B and A, because like pretty much everything's drawing range, right? So
yeah. All right. So next we have QGA.
yeah, I think this is S.
You think S? I like
Yeah.
you're the better expert on it, but it's S tier unless you played it the way that Ivan Shiko played. Do you remember that shit?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, really.
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me try to find it.
Oh no, no, I remember. Okay, I remember. I
I
remember.
wonder if this was
I
the one.
remember.
God damn it, bro.
Dude, oh god.
No, where's the game?
Wait, wait, it doesn't show you the game? That's fucked up.
That is pretty fucked up.
No, I know what you're talking
You
about
know
though. Like,
exactly what I'm talking
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know
about.
what
What
you're talking about.
exactly was it
It was like
again?
A4, ace. Yeah, it was something like that, dude. Like that was something else, dude. That was
And that was
something
after Shiko just got caught back from drawing Carl's in his previous tournament.
Okay, so what I like about QGA is like first of all, it's really easy to play.
Yeah.
You pretty much nuke the center pawns immediately, so there's no pawn structure to speak of. Secondly, I basically view this as like the Petrov of D4 because like white basically
Yeah.
can't really dodge this if he plays D4.
Yeah, that make
Um,
I agree.
it's also like really easy to learn and like there's really not that much theory. So
And
like
and even
that's
like
what
so DC4 I think the only annoying thing is like Nat F3, Nat F. It kind of is like the Petrov in that sense, where like okay, on Nat F3, Nat F6, E3, you go E6, and like a lot of times you just get the end game. And you
yeah.
do kind of have to like know some shit, so
Mhm.
you don't end up like you did against Michael Song. But but like on 3 E4, like you like there you have a ton of options again with black. Like you can kind of just like play any move really.
Yeah, I
But
like B5 and I
you
also like
like
E5.
B4.
I think E5 is good too. I think E5 is good too.
Yeah, yeah, they're both
Like
pretty good.
if you want to draw the game, E5 is good. But like if you've made the mistake of playing E4, like sometimes black will just play B5 and whip your ass. So just
Right,
is what it is.
exactly. But yeah, we'll put this in Esther because like if you put Petrov in Esther, you also have to put that because they're like two
I
like
think they're very
basically.
similar. The one thing that like I think makes it a little bit worse than Petrov, so like it's behind it, is the fact that if white plays English, you have to play something different.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, what's really nice is after one knight f3, you just play d5, you just pre-move dc4, so it's the same shit.
Yeah, correct.
That's nice. But against English, you do have to play something different.
Hmm. All right. So next we have just standard QGD.
Yeah.
Later on, I have like Tarrasque type shit. So I'm just gonna say this is like standard QGD, like 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 knight c3, bishop e7, or like knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, knight
Yeah,
bd6, that type
yeah,
of
that's
stuff.
fair. I would probably put this like
Eh,
bottom of A, top of B.
Yeah, I would say like this still got to be like A tier, just because
Yeah, I mean,
objectively
like
it is so
it's
solid.
good. It's really good. It's just like, what is the purpose?
Yeah, Titus was telling me at this because he played the QGD against like a 2000 with Black
Yeah.
this turn. And I was like kind of surprised to see it, right? And I asked him
Mhm.
after the game. I was just like, because I remember you told me like, obviously like when the Berlin came out, they're just like, holy shit, like this shit draws, right? And but then just
Yeah.
like as chess progressed, like people started realizing White has no way to force a draw against the Berlin, so they just started playing that shit for the win with Black. And then I
Yeah.
figured like Titus just went and did the same thing with the QGD, where he's just like, everyone's like, holy shit, this shit's so solid. Like, why can't make headway against the QGD? And Titus is like, fuck it. I'm just gonna use this shit to play for the win.
No, it's not even that bad for playing for a win. Like you get the hanging pawn structure a lot in a lot of the main lines,
Sometimes.
and like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and like you can win hanging pawns with black if you know what you're doing. But yeah, I just don't really see like the purpose. Like you have to learn Carlsbad or like and or Catalan. It's like kind of annoying. I will say that it makes a good team up with Nimzo. Obviously, like everyone knows that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because of the fact that then you have a solution to the three knight of three problem. And like also you don't have to play Carlsbad because most people would choose Nimzo or Carlsbad. So like it's a really natural combo with that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So yeah, honestly, just like the Nimzo plus, because a lot of times like it'll just be you get Nimzo, or like likely if it's knight f3 d5, it'll just go for like
Yeah.
Catalan, or
Mhm.
knight f3 d5, knight c3 is a real thing there also.
Yeah.
So
But I think
yeah,
I
and then
might
you
just be
just
like
go whatever,
I,
like knight bd7, or like knight bishop e7,
yeah.
anything
I mean,
super.
I might just be crazy because I actually like playing against Kylan as black. So, but most
Yeah,
people
like
don't.
I
Which is my
started to.
case.
I mean, I don't know. It's
I'm
probably
actually not really sure why. I think most people as black really hate Catalan, but
well,
I
it's
mean, I
probably
get it.
because only retards play the Catalan.
I will say that like it's nice because like if you're like retarded, like the Catalan's like the best opening to like not lose immediately with if you're playing white.
Unless you're like extremely retarded, you just lose immediately anyway against Vincent.
Yeah, that's fair.
um,
I think
eh,
Queen's Indian is like similar boat but worse, so I'd probably put it in B.
I'd probably put it like top of B tier, just
Yeah, I think that's fair because it's actually good, but yeah, it's
but it's like slightly less objectively good, but it's kind of like same boat.
yeah.
Yeah,
I also don't like that like white has so white kind of has to play G3, but like after that like there's a lot of freedom for white.
yeah. So I think so clearly
There's
the
also freedom for black though, like bishop a6 and stuff, but whatever.
yeah. I guess like we don't have to like clog it with this, I guess, because I put this as like a wide opening, which like we don't need to put, I guess. But
I
this would
mean, yeah. I guess like when it comes to Lopez, which we'll probably characterize at some point, like basically we just like split Berlin and like close and like everything else. That's how I think I would do it. But yeah.
yeah, honestly, like I can add the screenshots right now for real.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Like it's fine.
No, it's
Like
cool. Like so,
isn't there a spot where we're gonna talk about like because like at that point like we should actually no now that I think about it, if we're gonna do that then we should like subdivide the Lopez into like closed Lopez, arcangles, like open and stuff like that. And it's just like I don't know, it just seems like
I'm
weird.
just gonna do like these two.
Okay, that's fair.
Um,
I mean, or we could just like have one Lopez and just like talk about like the different lines. I actually like that better.
you think so?
Yeah, I like that better. But I mean, long story short, it's S tier for black.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I do like because I don't want to put too much shit in S tier. You're right. So like
Yeah,
what?
no, no, that's fair.
So
I
like
mean, I'm pretty sure there's a spot later where it like sort of comes up, but
yeah, but that shit's not gonna be an S tier.
yeah, of course.
So okay, I just put this like near the top, if like
Okay,
not
I'll
the
just like
top.
rank responses. Like that Berlin is S tier. Like you can play for win or draw.
Yeah, so is
Um,
A6 for sure. But you have to
I
choose
think
like the
like
right.
yeah, I think that like mm, I think that Open Spanish and New York English are both like very solid A tiers.
What
Like
about
they
Brer?
just draw
Yeah,
rare.
but
I think it's like
it's
B.
probably. You think it's B? I feel like it's A,
I
but
mean,
it's got
I
that.
think it's objectively fine, but it's just like so fucking annoying to play with black. Like there's so much shit I can do.
Yeah, I started playing like. There's a lot of bullshit you can play with A6 too. Like I don't even think Bishop A4 B5, Bishop B3, Bishop B7 is bad.
Yeah, no, you can do a whole lot of stuff. Like
Yeah.
also like Bishop C5 moves 3 and 4 are both good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
All right.
yeah. I mean, as a whole, I would definitely put Lopez S. So like you can play for a win or a draw. Like if you're black. The only thing that's kind of annoying is that like you obviously don't force it, and white has a ton of choices after like in every line basically.
Right. All right. So now we come to the Scandinavian.
Yeah, put that shit in D.
Yeah, I think like the only thing we could consider is just like Carlson has played this shit so much with black just to get a position, and he like wins with
Yeah,
it
that's
so
fair.
much.
Well, okay, I think that like
But
essentially like this opening is basically it's just like Aerocon but worse, like pretty much. But at the same time, like what is cool about it is that like you forcibly get your position.
exactly, yeah. So
And
like
also
I'm willing to put this at like the very bottom of C tier, like
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
behind Benoni, but like yeah, just like barely, I guess, just because.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I was gonna say was that if white doesn't know theory, it's actually really good. But if white knows theory, it's really bad. So yeah.
Yeah,
But to be fair, like who knows the theory of the Scandinavians? Like there's that too, I guess.
yeah, yeah. All right, and next we have the Four Knights, which I started playing recently just to
Yeah,
avoid the.
it's actually like pretty good, I think.
I think like
I
the
probably
problem is objectively like it's like white does get advantage, but there's
yeah,
so
it
many
does.
lines, right? There's so many fucking lines that black can play. Even
Yeah.
like Rook B8 nowadays is all the rage, and it just like hangs a piece. And white's just better there, but
Yeah, I
like
mean, there's just like the problem with white is you just have to like know so much against this opening, which is like really bullshit considering it's not a very common opening, and B, it's like not an especially great opening, so white players
yeah,
don't really want to study it.
especially
So
preparation wise, if you can see like in my last tournament, I saw like my one of my opponents just like never took on C6 here, always knight DB5. And so
yeah,
instead of playing like the two knight c6 against which like she sometimes played Rosalimo, I just like went
right.
for this move order against her, like tricked her, and we got into like a Chelyabinsk right away.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
it works for like several reasons there. Because like first of all, you avoid 795, which is like arguably the most challenging way to meet
correct. Yeah.
Sveshnikov. On also like Bishop B4 is also just like it just draws. So
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Um, so yeah, I think that like this opening is like I'd probably put it like top of B. Because
You
knight takes C6 is really annoying.
I would put
You
it
think you'd
bottom
put it
of
A?
A, honestly. Just because I think like
Okay.
because knight c6, bc6, like the pawn structure is so unique there that it's just like at some point like the objective evaluation, if you start like going for it, like it really doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, that's
And
fair. That's
it
fair.
starts
Yeah,
like obviously like the more white prepares, the more bad like it can become. But I
yeah,
think like if you have it just like in a repertoire, like if I'm like for me, right, like if I'm playing French, I'm playing E5 sometimes, and I just like suddenly
yeah.
hit my opponents with the four knights, like especially against people that like don't take on C6 that often, like
Yeah, no, it's true. If white doesn't like really know, it's a huge win,
yeah. So I would
and
put
it's
this
like
at
hard to play now. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
like the bottom of A tier, I guess. And it's
Mhm.
really not that bad objectively. Like I mean, even like the
Yeah, it's
team's quote, right? It's just like, like I'll just like get an end game from here, and like I'm a
mhm.
GM, so I won't lose that shit. And then
Yeah,
just like don't
no, that's
lose
totally
it.
fair.
All right, so the Slav is definitely S tier.
Yeah,
Um, would you put it above?
particularly Semislav. Um,
Yeah, yeah, like the Chevenenko and like the DC4 Slav, like you have to be like a little bit like
you have to let's say
like
that if you play Chevenenko, you have to know a lot for not too much reward. But it's actually like I actually really like it. I think it's really fun. I think the pawn
interesting.
structure is really interesting.
Yeah,
But like yeah, it's not as good as its cousins probably.
yeah,
But that's not really saying much because his cousins are insane. So like, yeah,
right, right, right.
particularly Semislav. Like Semislav is probably objectively the best way you can beat D4, like in terms of just objectivity.
Yeah, maybe. So
I think I would sooner recommend QGA to like students though, because like it's just such a pain to learn all this shit about Islam.
Yeah, I know, I agree. Especially when people can just like take on D5 too.
Like semi-Slav doesn't really have a purpose. That's what I find annoying about it. Like
Hmm.
that's what like I think is like holding it back from being like top of S, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay,
Um,
so next we
but
got the Snick Benoni.
yeah, goodbye. Yeah, I should go to the
Well,
bottom.
the difference is this actually has a fucking purpose. Maybe we can put it like near the top of D tier.
No, dude, I think objectively it's like objectively it's too bad, bro. Like
You
it's
think
very
objectively
anti.
it's worse than the fucking perk?
Dude, the Snake Benoni is like plus like 1.5 or some shit if White just remembers to play D6.
Oh shit.
Like the thing is that in online Blitz, White very frequently doesn't play D6, but that's not a reason to rank it highly.
All right. So the next we have the Chelyabinsk,
I think
which
this
I'm.
opening is like an A tier opening, I would
You think
say.
A tier? Damn.
Yeah.
All right. I would argue for top of A tier then. Yeah, I think honestly, like
Mm.
while 95 is still possible, I would just put this shit A tier. Also, because we played it in move order where like the
Yeah,
Ross
you
is.
also you allow Ross.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Like I've definitely had my share of troubles like trying to avoid Ross and then like having to deal with like 95 bullshit. But I do think it's so
Yeah.
good for playing for a win, like way more than people
It is. It
think.
is. It is. Yeah, it
Next we
is.
have, I mean this isn't like the, I mean either
It's a
Taimana
Taimana.
slash Paulson slash whatever.
I mean, I'm not rating Paulson, so Taimana, I would put this like, I think it's like similar to Khan. I think they're very close together, but I
Yeah,
would put this, well, I mean, also, obviously I have personal bias. I put it below Khan, but
yeah,
like,
I would put this like I think because White has so much shit they can play against the time on him
yeah,
nowadays. There's like
nowadays a lot of people, because they don't want to play against four knights, if you use this move order, they'll play bishop f4, which is actually pretty good.
yeah, yeah. So like Bishop F4 is a thing. Like against the Taimanov itself, like F4 is a thing. There's some like Rook G1, G4 lines. There's Bishop E3,
Like,
Queen
first of all,
F3.
after bishop e3, queen f3, you like have to memorize the forced draw, or it's like terrible. So like, there's that.
Wait,
Um, which is like, one of the
what
main
is the
lines.
forced draw? I actually don't know what you're
It's insanely long. Don't worry about it.
talking
It's
about.
like
Okay,
30 moves long. And like also like G3 is good.
G3 is good.
Like there's like this weird stuff like A3, F4, G4, all this like
Dude,
random
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. And like all the pawn sack, like people are sacking the E4 pawn now and getting like really
Yeah.
good comp for that shit.
No, I actually don't really like this opening that much, to be honest.
Yeah, no, same. I feel like utility wise, it's just like too much to learn
Yeah,
for what.
I agree. Yeah, I would definitely sooner choose Khan over this.
Okay, so we have the Trumpowski.
Okay, that's not really a black opening, but so I guess we shouldn't really like rank it, but let's just say that it's very good for black.
I mean, not as good as D4, D5, Bishop G5, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty good.
Okay. So we
Uh,
have D4, E6, C4, B6, which I want to put in S tier. But
S? Really?
I think it's like so good for like a variety of like I feel like it objectively equalizes and you can just like play for like the problem with the other I was like with the exception of Nimzo, like the problem with Slav and QGA, I think like
They're
White
one
has
dimension. Well, it's just like doing jobs though. Like this line you suggested is really good at doing its job for a win, but those lines are pretty good at doing their job for a draw.
I guess so. I guess like I mean if you're just like judging it in terms of it doing its job, like probably you would rank
No, this opening is definitely good at doing its job, but I think
yeah.
in terms of like the problem is I think it like all the other S tiers are
Actually
like objectively like they're all monsters, right? Like just like objectively, like they're
so
like the best of the
actually
best that you can play.
I might
I would
want
put
to
this
read.
top of A. I would put this top of A, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm okay putting this top of it because I saw like the next opening. And I think this shit's like really fucking good at doing its job.
Yeah, that opening's good for drawing.
Like I think like honestly,
Well, are you using that to represent Tarish or semi Tarish? Because both are S.
both right. Like
Well, yeah,
so
that's fair. That's fair.
Well, not like so. I'm saying like CD5. There's like CD4, right? And then also
Yeah,
CD5, ED5,
right. Yeah,
which are
no, that's
both
fair.
just like clearly like fine for.
That opening does do its job really well. The only thing is that like compared to QGA, it's harder to get on the board.
Yeah, I mean compared to QGA,
Well, I mean, that's not really saying that because QGA is like the easiest opening to get in the game
yeah.
on the board.
Correct. Yeah,
but,
yeah, of
but yeah,
course.
that's yeah. So I would rank that like pretty similar to QGA because White can't really dodge QGA, but like
Yeah,
that probably draws a little bit smoother because White can't play E4 or anything like that.
right. And then
Um,
like you would just have to know something um
yeah, but
against
at the same
Catalan, which
time,
is
you
fine.
you
Yeah.
actually have to know so much less theory to play QGA than you do to play that though.
I feel like this is not a lot of theory though. I mean,
I mean,
well,
I think
there are
QGA is
like the
like almost
E3 lines
everything.
and shit, but like you know,
No, that's not really like theory. It's kind of just playing. But
yeah.
so
We can put this below QGA.
we can just say they're like the same, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're like the same. What the
All
fuck
right.
is that?
And then the next is D4 G6 C4 Bishop G7 Knight C3 E6.
Oh, yeah. This opening is really good at doing its job, but it also like sucks. So like we can probably put it in like B, like bottom of B, I guess.
You want, but I would put that shit in C tier.
Oh, you think so? It's up. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty
It's pretty
bad.
bad, dude. I would,
I was gonna give it some credit for like having a job, but like Benoni has a job, but like you know,
yeah,
like
I'd
yeah,
probably put
it's
this like, r- mm, like
I mean,
I would,
I've definitely
God,
played this more than I've played Bogo for what
yeah, yeah.
that's worth.
I'd rather play this than play the BOGO, just because like at least I stand for something as a person. But
Yeah, you're like doing something. Like we
I
don't
don't
know
think
what
I
it is
can
yet, but like you're
consciously
doing
put.
something.
Yeah, like I can't with clear conscience put this above the Kalashnikov.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worse than the Kalashnikov.
Yeah. Right next we have the Neo fucking Steinitz. So, which we thought was the best opening ever in like
Dude, I thought this shit was like triple S, but it's actually
2017.
awful. Like,
Yeah, back in 2017, this is all the fucking rage.
yeah,
2018,
and now if
2019.
you play this open, you have to be a fucking post and you just like Bishop D7 and G6. So then it's like, what the fuck is the point?
I
So
will
like
say though,
honestly,
I think
yeah.
C3 F5 like is at least
Yeah,
like
no, it's good. C3 F5 is good. The problem is that if White castles, you just want to fucking shoot yourself.
yeah, like when I told because what was it like Gregorian was telling me after the game he was considering playing this against me and he only plays C3 here
Yeah.
because I asked him like like C3 F5 and he said like C3 I saw you play at F5 he's like I'm not going to go into that like I'm Armenian
Yeah, of
like I
course.
don't deal with F5 what is F5 and basically I was like
I mean,
well
fair
like
enough.
the reason like I don't play this over the board like in classical and people could prep for me is like castles and he like looked at me like he didn't understand he's like castles like don't you just like get my light squared bishop though? I don't understand. And I had to explain to him that like b5, knight a5, you just meet with like d4 and you're just gonna like crush me, basically.
Yeah,
And just
you
like I
can't play
can't
like
play
that.
that shit. And he
You
was
can't
just
beat your
like,
center like that.
yeah, and he like didn't understand that for like, and that's the only reason he's played C3 for like 20 25 games. He just thought castles gives away the light squared bishop.
Nah, bro, dude, that shit's got to go like at max bottom of C.
Yeah, but it is fun, dude. So like,
No,
no,
it's fun, but like the
if I'm
fact that
playing
every castle you had to play Bishop D7 is so sad. So
no, but like if I'm playing a 2100, right, and it's like
yeah,
round one of a tournament where I know they didn't have time to prepare, like I might just like whip out a6 d6. You know what I mean? Like just
that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
like
there
I'd
are a lot
rather
of other
play.
openings
Okay, this
like
shit's
F4.
definitely not behind the Scandinavian. That's for sure.
Okay, I would argue they're pretty close, but that's fair.
Well, because the Scandinavian is just not as fun. Like objectively, they're probably
Okay,
pretty
okay, fair
close,
enough, fair enough, fair enough.
but it's just
Yeah,
like you
okay,
can
I can agree with that.
right? Like there are lines like if your opponent doesn't know what they're doing after castles bishop g4, like if they play c3 after queen f6, you're just like better, dude.
Okay, but that's a bit helpful, I think.
I don't know, man. Like when I played like these 2000s, 2100s, like all of them just play c3 against me because no, you don't really see queen
Oh,
f6 happening in the fucking
um,
Spanish.
What I will say is that after like castles bishop d7, like there are a lot of like GMs who just like will just have the player, so that doesn't.
Yeah, like Neraditsky and like Jacobson were talking about like how do you play for a win against the Spanish, and that's the conclusion they came to. Like Neo
Mhm.
Steinitz with Bishop D7, Knight G7.
Yeah, like you accept a worse position, but like like it's fine. Like your position's solid. Like your pieces are fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So next is again I put this wide opening here. This is the Joko, but I guess like we can this can be both
I mean
kind of
it's like the same story. Is like because if you play Lopez, with black you have to face this, right? So it's like the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess like we're just putting this also here, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Because both
guess.
I mean, I would it doesn't feel right
No,
putting
that's.
both of
I
these
would
like at the
probably. I would
very
probably. I would just not rank it for now. I
what,
also don't.
what
I
about
also
both of
don't agree that. I also don't agree that they're a top of S to begin with. Like I
yeah,
don't
I
think
don't
I would
agree
put
either.
it
I
top.
wanted to move them down. But like we have the Rui up there, so I don't know where to put this shit.
Honest. I mean, I would put that below French because I think French is better at doing the job.
What do you think like Neidorf or classical? I
I
think
mean, they're
Neidorf
all like
probably.
basically. Like, let's be honest here. In English, they're all kind of like the same.
I
But
honestly
yeah,
think yeah, I do
I think
like
French is like with French. Like, not only is it good at doing its job, you can also like choose your job. Like, no matter what white
yeah,
plays.
that's true. All right. You just want to not rank
Jupiter.
the Joko?
I mean, like, well, because if you play against Lopez, you obviously have to play against Italian, and it's
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
it's they're to begin with they're quite similar in character
Yeah,
anyway. So
all right, I'll agree with that. Next, we have the corn stalk.
yeah, let's
Names because the bishop comes in like a sign to chop off the quotient. Chop
dude.
off.
The problem that happened to me in a couple of bullet games was that White kind of just left it there, and it's like, why do I have Rook at A6?
You
He
always
just
put
played like
that
Knight
there.
F3 or some shit, and it's like, what do you do?
You play rook e6 and d5, but then you go e5 and now you have a rook on e6.
Yeah, like let's assume that White's like a moron and he doesn't need Rook E6 with like Knight G5 or like anything like that. But like what do you even fucking do? Like how does it help you to have your Rook in the on the sixth rank? That's the problem, dude.
You start like English attacking it. You start the
Yeah,
English attack on the king side.
true. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's gonna have to stay unranked.
Yeah, this is not a black opening either. Although I guess like ready. Yeah, I mean, well,
Like, what are
yeah,
you ranking against already? Like, are you ranking G6, Bishop G4, Knight
yeah.
D7?
Like
Like, that's
I told
like
you, like
what
when
are we
I
going?
started screenshotting, I like
Yeah, yeah.
forgot at some point that it was like black
No, we,
openings.
we can do wide openings another video, bro. Then you get max revenue too. Genius.
Yeah, for like my 5 viewers.
Yeah, that's pretty good, dude.
Pretty
More
good,
viewers than
dude.
I
I
have.
might make half a cent.
Dude, I think I have like 80 followers on Twitch actually, but I haven't streamed in like years. So,
Damn, that's crazy.
all right. So this A6 QGD, yeah, it's probably like B tier.
I would put it B tier also. Probably like
Yeah, it's good at
middle
doing
of
its
B
job.
tier. Like
It's good at doing its job. Just like at the end of the day, you're playing cards by down tempo. So
yeah, like I feel like man, even I don't even feel like it's great at doing it. Like it's not bad at doing its job, but I feel like there's just better ways to get the job done,
yeah, I mean, what I like about it is like you can force your bishop to F5, which is like rare in cosguide structures.
you know? Yeah. We're putting
Yeah, I
this
think that's a
above the
fine place
Dutch
for
for
it.
sure. But
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
yeah. Yeah, the next is this D4 knight F6, C4 B6 trash.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
I would put it like I don't feel like I can put it below like too far below Benoni. Like I feel like this has got to be
Oh
C.
no, dude, it's 100% better than the Benoni, dude. Uh, yeah, but I would say around there. Yeah, around
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like F3
Because
is
at
good,
least
Queen
like
C2 is good. Like yeah,
yeah, it's hard
it's
to rank any shit against D4 too low, like, except for the Chigorin, because like any of the bullshit like does have a good job at like playing for the
well,
pawn.
the only reason people play the bullshit is because they want to get a game because they feel like they can't in the regular lines, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's like the Budapest Gambit.
I feel like we already ranked the King's Indian, if I'm
We
not.
did, we
Yeah,
did.
we did. Okay, so I'm putting this at the end. The Catalan, which I guess like we can rank this because like black has several options here, like DC4, Bishop B4, Bishop E7. We can all kind of like
Yeah,
rank all of them together, but we do need some
yeah.
like Catalan type opening in here.
I think Bishop E7 is the worst of the three.
But it depends on like what job you're trying to accomplish, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
Adis
That's fair.
plays Bishop E7, he's like perfectly fine with it.
Well, Bishop E7 is probably like it's probably the best move for drawing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think
Bishop
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 B4 is
B4 is
the
great. Like
I think Bishop B4
C6.
is the best move. I think yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think Bishop
even this
B4 is the best.
H6 Bishop D6 shit is like really not bad, like at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
DC4 is good if
DC4
you
for
like
sure.
wanna like there's so many ways to have fun after DC4, you know?
Yeah, I feel like this. I feel like this should be S tier. What do you think? I
Yeah,
mean,
Kylo with black.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean at the very least I would definitely give Bishop B4 check S tier.
yeah. I think I would too. We'll put it
Because
just
like
because it's like yeah.
yeah.
We'll put this here. I put this just for
What the
joke.
fuck? What is that? Oh wait, that's the thing that like Quinn and shit used to play. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
he was trying to convince us why it was good. He's like, for just a pawn, I'm gonna get all my knights out, all my bishops out, and have the center. Because you wanted to play like D4, knight C3, knight F6, F3. He started teaching that to all the kids at the camp.
No, dude, I remember like I was talking about that with him, and we were like, I literally asked him like, what if I just like hold on to it and just play like Bishop F5? He said, then I'll play G4, Bishop G6, G5, and take back the pawn. I put Knight FD7, F takes E4, E5 on the board. It's like -1.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Yeah,
All right, we're not gonna rank this because
yeah,
it's
that's not
fun.
getting ranked. That's not getting ranked.
All right, so this is
Yo,
interesting though.
that shit is that shit is shiest for black.
What do you
It's
think?
pretty
Like,
good. I think it's good, but like you know, like how do you rank that though? That's not like, is that really a black opening?
I guess against B3 specifically, right? But
I mean, this is probably the best way to do B3, frankly.
I don't. Sometimes I
Like,
struggle like in bullet. People just like take the fucking pawn and then hang on. Also, like knight F3 is a move here.
yeah, but after like knight f3, like couldn't you at least play like f6 or something? And like I don't know,
Yeah,
kind of just
sure.
play.
But then it's probably like a interesting French.
Yeah, I mean, I got something like white played bishop b5 and bishop b2, so like it can't be the best French for him, but yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like strange ranking this. Um,
Yeah, I don't really know how you would like
like
compare
it's
this to
not one
other
of the
openings.
openings that I feel like would like stereotypically belong in like an S tier list. You know, like along with
Yeah,
just. So I would be
yeah,
willing
no,
to put it just like
I
top
think
like
I think it just like doesn't really fit in with the rest of the shit that we're ranking, to be honest.
yeah, and that's fine. We'll just
Yeah,
put it like somewhere A tier. Yeah, again, this is a
yeah,
white opening, but
yeah.
all
But
right.
if we were to rank it for white, it would be D.
God damn it! I started putting a bunch of fucking white openings in
Okay,
here.
let's just find the black openings because
Yeah.
I gotta go like relatively soon anyway, so it's
All
not
right.
too
So we
bad.
have C4 E6 and F3 G5.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Oh wait, never mind, never mind. I looked at this with G3 instead of C4, and it's only like minus, and it's only like plus +0.6, which is not that bad. But with C4, I'm not sure. It doesn't look good with C4.
Yeah, we'll probably put this somewhere in D tier.
No, yeah, that's like one step above the corn stalk. Yeah, it's not good.
All right, we have the Czech Benoni.
Oh, without C4 is crazy. Yeah, that shit is fucking bottom of T.
Okay, what if we
I would
had?
actually, I would rather without C4. I would actually rather play the court stock, like straight up. Like that shit is disgusting.
Okay, we'll put it above the snake Benoni.
Okay, that's fair. It's probably better than Snake Mountain, worse than the corn stalk.
Oh shit, we'll put the corn stalk up here. This is E4 H6
Oh shit,
H4.
that's the fucking Toby Boas special. Wait, what is that? Oh shit. Oh shit. Wait, okay, okay. I swear this inclusion is bad for white though. Like, I feel like it
No,
just has to be, dude.
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
But E4 we're ranking this top of D tier just to give it the top spot of bad openings.
fair enough.
Yeah, I really put a lot of fucking like black shit in here. I think man, that might be everything, honestly. Because
Yeah.
this is Ross, this is C3 Sicilian, this is the fucking Grand Prix. Oh, my dog's right here. You want water? Or do you want to say hi? What do you want?
Yeah, I think this actually is like a pretty good list definitionally, I
All
would
right.
say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think like by definitions this is a pretty good list because I don't think I would play anything like below B, like in tournament. Like for me personally, at least.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that's a good way to judge.
Yeah, personally, like I will have situations where I would might play the dragon or the Neo Science,
Yeah, I would say that
but
like B you can is like pretty good situationally. C is like maybe like in certain situations it can be okay, and D is like always trash. That's how I would like see the rankings. And like A is like almost always good, and S is like always good.
yeah, correct. So
That's
yeah,
how basically how I would think about it in terms of doing jobs at least.
yeah, I agree. So I think this is a pretty good list. Let me save this.
Yeah, I mean like obviously like we
Oh,
could like argue the order, but we'd have to be here for another hour, so that's fair.
I can just download it. Okay, there we go. All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
good
mean,
with this.
we could argue the order. We could argue the order of things, but I don't really see the point.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. We can do like white openings next. Would be dope. We'll do that at a
Yeah,
different time.
not today, not today. But yeah, that's
For
white
sure.
openings would be good too. But
I
yeah, like
agree.
what'd you think of like doing this? Like
It,
it's
it was
fun, right?
fun. I enjoyed doing it. Next time we need to
Yeah,
add more like random shit openings in there for more like shits and
for
giggles.
the content. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I think this is a good list. I'm good with having French at the top. Actually, I'm a big French fan these days.
Yeah, yeah, especially knight c3 and f6. Just because, like, man, you can do anything against like bishop g5 or e5, and then like people
Also,
can
I
do
like
like stupid shit too. So
yeah. The only thing that like that you kind of have against it is that like white can take on d5 and then you only have one job. Like like right away.
you mean I'll move three,
Yeah.
dude? I saw
Um.
Like I was preparing a little bit for Eric Zhao like for round nine because I didn't
Yeah.
know right away I was gonna play like Sargisian. And I saw
Yeah.
Eric Zhao exclusively against the well, maybe not exclusively anymore, but against the French, like he largely plays three knight c3, knight f6, four e takes d5.
It's actually kind of lit.
Dude, it's literally like exchange French, knight f3, knight c6, up a tempo for white, which is kind of crazy. It probably goes hard, dude. You just like pass a queenside and shit.
Wait, no, but after bishop d3, you could play knight c6 though, and then he has to make a weird choice because of knight b4.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
you
I
can't
don't know.
play c3. Because you can't play c3.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I think that like in that specific position, that was like pretty good. I actually realized I didn't put like any of the other French lines, but like I think it's fine. Like this is like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we didn't have
Like
like the
what
e2 or
in the
e5.
French, like you can play the what I like for French, you can play for two jobs. You can play to draw or play to win, like in most of the
Exactly.
lines. But e5 kind of pigeonholes you, and e takes d5 also pigeonholes you. Those are the only like two like things that are annoying in terms of utility. But in terms of like
Correct.
being objectively good, I think French is pretty good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like 92,
I mean,
like kind of
pretty much everything in S tier is like objectively, it's like perfect, right? Because like how could it not be if it's S tier?
correct. Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to put like E6, B6 in S tier. It's like yeah, like probably equalizes, but like
You still
it's not
gotta
the
like
same.
work for it a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the same as the others. Like
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, I don't know, when I think of E6, B6 compared to like this like CD Queen B6 French or like QGA, it's just not the same.
Right.
But in terms of doing its job, that opening is pretty good.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, one thing that's a demerit against that E6 B6 stuff. If white plays A3, you have to play QID.
Oh, you
Um,
mean like knight f3 and a3? Yeah, you
yeah.
do have to. Yeah, but it's like you do have to play Queen's Indian, but it is like
Well, it's like a good
it is
Queen's
actually just
Indian.
completely
Yeah.
equal there.
Yeah, no, it is, but
But
like
it is still like
it's annoying to do, and it like hinders you from doing your job a little bit.
exactly correct. Like it hinders you from like trying
Yeah,
to play for a win as much.
yeah, that's actually a pretty big knock against it, to be honest. Because a lot of people actually do play A3 QID. I have no idea why, but they do. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that's one. So that's something you have to keep in mind. But I think this is like a pretty good list. I think this is like it's pretty much like this is pretty much like what I think of stuff. Maybe con could be a little higher, but I don't really care either way.
Yeah.
Like
But all
uh
right, yeah. Thanks
yeah, I
for
think this
doing
is a
this
good
with me.
list. And I think what really matters, like to the viewers out there, like I think what really matters is not like, the specific ordering of the list or whatever, because like stuff like changes with like what's your favorite and stuff, because like, you obviously play your favorites better. Like I play con better because it's my favorite. Um, but like more like I think the mentality, like in terms of like how we rate stuff, like with the objectivity and like the like how hard stuff is to learn and like how good is it at doing its job. I think this is like a pretty good way to like think about stuff going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, the C column still has the penis
What?
because it's the longest, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, I don't know, dude. The C column, bro. The C column is like,
Because
man.
there's so many like strange openings that aren't like
Yeah, I mean, like
exactly deep.
you could definitely break C column down further. Like I don't think the Kalashnikov and like the Benoni are in the same tier, but like I understand why we did that. Like it's
Yeah.
understandable.
We
Yeah.
could have done this on like the regular like with the C D E F tier list. Could
I
have
mean,
like
like if we
divided
like
the
really
breakdown.
wanted to, we could like literally like just rank them like 1 to like 50, But
Yeah, but this
like that would
is
be but I think this is
I
fine.
think
Like
this is fine.
is Yeah, I think this is fine.
All right, dope.
All right,
And
that
yeah,
works.
I'll
That
see
works.
you guys back here next time when we rank the white openings list. And until then,
Yeah, make
peace.
sure to make sure to let them know in the comments if you guys enjoy having me around, because if not, like I guess they'll just fucking kill me. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll just never invite him on again. So
Yeah,
no
like
more
I'm
dragon.
actually in his basement right now. So like if you guys just like don't want to see me, then like there's probably not gonna be much of a reason for him to keep
Yeah,
me
I'll just
around.
stop
Like
feeding
just letting you
him.
know. Yeah, just letting you know, guys. No pressure. No pressure.
All right, I'll see you, man.
See ya.
Yep.